Blackburn now. A year ago, he contracted the deadly infection sepsis, and in an exclusive film for Morning Live last September, he met two fellow survivors.
Now he's finding out about a game-changing new test that could be the difference between life and death.
Our bodies are built to fight infections. When it does, our immune system can go into overdrive, attacking body tissues and organs. It's a condition called sepsis, also known as blood poisoning, and in just a single year, the cause of 48,000 deaths. Last year, sepsis made me seriously ill, and like many of us, I'd never even heard of it. So last September, here on Morning Live, I went to meet two people to find out how sepsis had affected them. Mark from Essex and Beth from Hampshire.
I do remember asking the doctor, am I going to die from this? And he looked at me straight in the eyes and he said to me, you're not out of the woods yet.
I had complete renal failure, respiratory failure.
And then you were told you had to have an amputation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most surreal moments of my life. If I'd have thought that having a pain in my side would end up in loss of all four limbs in various guises, never in a million years.
It's 7 months since I met Mark and Beth, and they're both continuing their recovery. But since that filming, we found out there's a new way to diagnose sepsis, and I want to find out about it. Dr. Andrew Retter from Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital in London is no stranger to sepsis.
We actually have 6 intensive care units. We admit somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 patients a year, of which about 1,000 will have sepsis. So we see sepsis every single day.
Speedy diagnosis is key because the longer it takes to detect sepsis, the more devastating its effects can be.
One of the issues is to spot when someone's deteriorating and then to escalate that and to call for help.
But at present, there's no single test which can diagnose sepsis. Dr. Retter's one of the team behind a test which is able to identify which patients are at a higher risk of developing sepsis when they arrive in hospital. There's a very exciting development, isn't there?
So
a possible exciting
There's
development.
a possible exciting development. Yes. So we have started work with a new test. We hope it will help us predict someone who's going to go and develop sepsis and also be a marker of how severe their sepsis is.
Using a simple sample of patients' blood, the test aims to identify a protein associated with sepsis that is created by the body's immune system. The higher the level of that protein, the greater the sepsis risk. It's the spotting that's the important bit, isn't it? Because every hour that goes on, it can be really critical, can't it?
For every hour antibiotics are delayed in someone who's got severe sepsis, that their mortality increases by about 8%.
The blood samples arrive here in the hospital's lab to be tested as part of the project.
This is our new magic machine. It's looking to detect the presence of neutrophil extracellular traps. And it's picking up a very specific protein in those neutrophil extracellular traps. Something called your H3.1 protein is what it's picking up, and that's what we're detecting.
You're very clever. I don't understand a word of what you're saying. The science might be complex, but the benefits this test could have for patients are crystal clear.
What we hope is that this is just an extra test, just helps identify someone who actually doesn't look too bad, but then this blood test actually reveals they're a bit sicker than you initially appreciated. Speed up the recognition and speed up the escalation and asking for help,
So a really exciting development, this.
It is, yes.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's going to save, potentially, a lot of lives.
I hope so, absolutely.
Innovations like these could make a huge difference, according to the CEO of charity the Sepsis Trust, Dr. Ron Daniels.
We have to bear in mind this is a condition that affects as many people as heart attacks. It claims more lives than some of the big cancers that we know and fear. Sepsis can arise in any person of any age. It can arise as a consequence of any infection anywhere in or on the body. And so people don't come in sort of waving a flag saying, I've got sepsis. So if we can identify it reliably and quickly, that could be game-changing.
At present, sepsis alone costs the NHS around £2.8 billion each year. So adding new tests like this to the system could stretch budgets even further.
as with everything, and it's awful to be thinking about this when we're talking about saving lives, there's going to be a cost involved with this product. And what we have to do is to ensure that our NHS is prepared to invest, treat it quickly, stop people getting as sick as to need intensive care, then we can improve the quality of life to survivors.
Andrew and the rest of the team at Guy's and St Thomas's are doing everything in their power to develop this groundbreaking test.
I can tell Andrew that you're a wonderful doctor and you have got your heart and soul in this. What would it feel like when this actually comes out and everybody is using it, for you personally?
It would be absolutely wonderful to have something new for sepsis. Sepsis is a huge public health problem, and just to be a tiny part in making it better would be wonderful. That would be amazing.
What I've seen today shows me there really is a reason for optimism, something that hasn't always been the case with sepsis. So let's hope this test is successful, because then it could be available for all of us very, very soon.
I think we're always just keeping our fingers crossed, aren't we, with new advancements in medical technology to help. Something like sepsis would be brilliant, wouldn't it, as Tony was saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. I like the way Tony was like, you're really great. I don't know what you're on about, though.
Not clear what he said, yeah. You're really clever. Keep doing what you're doing, yeah.
Such a lovely